about to share a story with you, so please bear with me while I gather my thoughts. Many of you know that I am working in the film industry, and this week I came to a small town in Texas to start working on a film. If any of y'all saw my story, you saw that me and two others were on a street corner peacefully demonstrating for the Black Lives Matter movement. This morning I get a phone call from one of the producers of the film, who is also chief of police of this town. To my friends and I standing on a corner holding some signs next to a statue. This infuriated the chief of police so much that he has now pulled the plug on the entire production. He was in charge of locations for this film that's taking entirely in this small town, and he decided that we pissed him off so much that he is going to punish people who are uninvolved. The aspect of all this is I'm less concerned about my job status and more concerned about the fact that the chief of police of this small town is in charge of protecting and serving all its citizens. And there is a black presence here in this town, and he was so enraged by 3 people holding up signs on a corner of the street in the night, not doing anything. You saw the videos. It's on my Instagram story as we speak. You see that we're screaming out Black Lives Matters. We're screaming out justice for George Floyd, kneeling just next to, a statue of a cop. This is concerning because he is in charge of protecting and serving people of his community, and within that is the black community. And if he can be so enraged at the fact that 3 non-black people were holding signs to combat police brutality and systemic racism that plagues black and brown people, what would happen if there was a larger protest that took place? Or does justice get served to black and brown people of this town? Based on the conversation that I had with him on the phone this morning, I do not feel secure in the fact that he would do his best job in serving these communities. Or he would decide to end contracts for people who are not involved, all the crew and all the cast, and punish the town that he serves by cutting off the economy, because films bring in money to any small town. Anybody that works in film knows that to be true. And because his ego is so fragile that 3 non-black people were holding fucking signs on a street corner to combat systemic racism, police brutality that plague black and brown communities, that he would just tank everything. I just want, for clarity and for posterity, I did post a picture in which we're standing next to a statue of Officer Thompson, who died in 2016. He was shot in the head by a sniper who was protecting the lives of protesters on the streets in Dallas. Now, our reason for choosing to protest to demonstrate in front of this statue was not because we were saying fuck you to the police force, but rather embracing the ideals that this gentleman died for. He died protecting the First Amendment right that we are all granted as citizens. And so therefore it made sense to stand there next to him and demonstrate for those whose voices have been not heard by the mass public. The piece to all of this is, if there's anybody out there who can get me in contact with a reporter to share this story, please let me know. I do want to publicize this because I do think it's important for people of this small town and Texas to know that their chief of police was so disgruntled at the fact that we were protesting for Black lives, demonstrating for them, for their voices to be heard. And then the other half of this is anybody who has contacts to locations across the state. I want to help out the production that we unfortunately became collateral damage to our demonstration yesterday. So if you know anything, please let me know. I want to do whatever I can. I want to end this asking for your help, obviously in regards to the film and letting people know what's happening in this town. But also I want to directly donate donate, find ways to help the community in which we were demonstrating for. So if you know any links to direct funds to either help protesters out there or pro bono lawyers, anything to that nature, please message me on Instagram, or message me any way you can get a hold of me. So thank y'all for listening, and yeah, sucks.
But Black Lives Matter!
Justice for George Floyd, y'all. So I watched my story back and I realized I was unclear about the photograph that was posted to my Instagram earlier today. That photograph had a middle finger in front of the statue of the fallen officer who died protecting protesters in Dallas in 2016, along with five others. I want to say very clearly, it was never our intention to disrespect the legacy of that officer and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for us to demonstrate peacefully. The middle finger was more to do with the fact that Black lives, since the inception of this country, have been treated unjustly and unfairly. And that's really what that was about. And I want to iterate again that we stood next to this officer because it made sense. He died protecting demonstrators, and we were demonstrating, and we were honoring that legacy. So I deleted those photographs from my Instagram post, and I reposted just a photo of me in the street because I realized that photograph could be interpreted as disrespecting the legacy of a fallen officer who died protecting, free speech and peaceful protests, and that was never the intention whatsoever. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. And for those who have seen that photograph, I do apologize if that was the takeaway, because that was not the intention, but I do take responsibility for those actions. In that post down, I did not want our demonstration to continue to be misconstrued. And our intended purpose of being there was to uplift the voices of the oppressed in this country. Conversation this morning with the chief of police. He called me almost instantly after I posted these photos to Instagram, the ones that I told you I just deleted. He called me on the phone, and he proceeded to give me rhetoric that we hear a lot from the white community, who dismiss the struggles of the Black community and people of color at large, and then continue to defend the police force. Now, like I said, I was not there demonstrating against police. I was there to uplift the Black community. Then he proceeded to ask me, what is the common denominator of Black lives dying at the hands of the police? And I said, you're going to tell me. His response, quote, failure to comply. Now you tell me what that says. The chief of police, y'all, he's in charge of the local PD and the safety and security of all that town's residents, including a large swath of the Black community that lived there, right? And he took the time today to dismiss why we were protesting to begin with, and distorted this message that we were saying, fuck cops, fuck that guy's legacy, blah, 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 blah. That is not why we were there. We were there to demonstrate for George Floyd and get justice for him, and to uplift the voices of the oppressed. And so it begs the question, what is the treatment of the Black community in this town? Are they heard? Are they seen? Are they listened to? Are they dismissed? Are they treated fairly? Are they unjustly incarcerated for no good reason? This is what has been riling